what we're going to be talking about today for our Kids Kingdom, I felt like I was brought up with this task to do the lesson, and I got to thinking, Lord, which way do you want me to go? I mean, there's a million lessons I could teach, or a million lessons I could go over, but I thought, well, I'll just leave it up to you. Well, then it came to me in the middle of the week. I thought, well, Brother Dan has been talking a lot about raising up the next generation of kids to establish a solid foundation in their life, so that their children and their children and the next generations can have a good solid foundation of Jesus and their Savior in their life. And so it made me think about a parable of the sower and the seed, or as Susan Moore talk, it would be the parable of the farmer and the seed. But I wanted to read the story to you, and then we'll close out with a little prayer. But to kind of get an idea of what's going on in this story, it's a parable that Jesus went out when he was teaching to let people think things through for themselves, and that's what a parable is. A parable is Jesus's way of putting things that people could understand, putting ideas out there so that people could understand what he was trying to get through to them, so that we could understand the real message. But in the parable of the sower and the seed, or the farmer and the seed, it can be found in Matthew 13, Mark 4, and Luke 8. But so let me read to you just a little bit about what I have on the sower and the seed. A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering it, some fell along the path and was trampled on or eaten by birds. Some fell on rocky ground where there was no soil, and when they began to grow, the plants withered because their roots could not reach water. Other seeds fell among weeds that choked them out. Still others fell on good soil and grew into tall, strong plants and produced a crop far greater than what was sown. Jesus was telling them that he was like the farmer, and the seeds were like the message he brought from God. The seeds that fell on the path and were eaten are like people who hear but do not pay attention. Those on rocky ground are like those who receive the word with joy and believe for a while, but when life gets difficult, they give up. The seeds among weeds are like those who hear but let themselves become choked out by daily life worries. But the seeds that fell on good soil are like those who hear God's message and hold it tight in their heart. Their faith grows and grows. So that was my story about the parable of the farmer.